What are we going to get? We're going to have guest of honor. So how does it feel to finally retire?
I know, I'm watching my
It's been in the planning for many, many years, about 41 years.
Wow, 41 years ago.
Yeah, but feels good. Do you have mortuary for color setting?
No.
But no, feels good. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to what I'm going to do when I retire. A lot of time, a lot of projects.
Less annoying camera. Oh. Anything you want to say to Harold?
Congratulations. Enjoy every minute.
Thank you all for coming. And we really appreciate all your goodness that you have been to both of us, and especially Harold. I have something I need to read. It is from Dr. Ray Wojcik, who's a good friend of ours and couldn't make it here today. He is in North Carolina with his wife, Lisa. So I wanted to read this and have you politely listen to me. Dear Harold, I wanted to send you this brief note to congratulate you on your many years of faithful service to the academic community at SUNY Broome. I might best describe my feelings in relation to you as a person by relaying a story I have always retained. I recollect a guest appearance of Gregory Peck on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Many years ago, Peck was recalling a time when he had a couple of minor roles in some movies. So he wins the face of some, but recognized by not a few, and they couldn't put his name together with his face. While his career was in essence in the 50s, Peck visited New York City with a friend, and they were trying to get into an exclusive nightclub that was all the rage in Manhattan. As the exclusive club, they would not let Peck in, whom they did not recognize. And his friend Rich said to Peck, "Why don't you tell them who you are?" Without skipping a beat, Peck said, "Well, if you have to tell them who you are, then you're not who you are." That's a good point. I have never forgotten that story. You, who is in the profession of such a powerful intellect, curious about everything, expert in so many things, and with an ability to instruct on an incredible inventory of subjects, have never been boastful, arrogant, or proud concerning your many talents. At the end of it, I learned more from what you never said than what you did say. While you were an intellectual giant covering a vast expanse of knowledge, your most admirable quality is your equal measure of humbleness and humility, which makes me proud to know you. I think Broome was blessed to have you at their services, and both Lisa and I wish you the happiest retirements. We look forward to getting together here down in the South as soon as we are able. There's two qualities I need to add: integrity and ethics, and you have them. And I don't think anyone in this room would disagree. Congratulations on your retirement, my dear health. It is well earned.
That was very, very nice.
Now, it's the boys' turn. Now we have to listen to that.
It's not wine, it's coffee. But thank you for noticing. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being here today. In case you don't know, I think everybody knows in this room, I'm Harold's eldest child, Eric, and
I'm the better-looking younger one.
Naturally, I'm thinner, but we're not going to go there. But we wanted to write something about our dad and how proud we are of his accomplishments. So I usually speak off the cuff, which is much better for me, but in a timed speech, it's better if I just read from a paper, so it keeps me focused. So again, so I wanted to give a brief synopsis about our dad, his career, and some of the important highlights, just so everybody has a background about him, and kind of his journey to how he got here. So I hope you bear with me for the next 50 minutes. Dr. Trimm started at SUNY Broome in 1983. He has been a popular and active member of the faculty since his tenure. During this time, Dr. Trimm's accomplishments are vast, and we just heard some of them. He has received numerous awards and honors, including the Chancellor's Award. He has published copious papers, wrote a book, holds 2 patents, received multiple grants from the Decker Foundation, National Science Foundation, National Arthritis Foundation, the National Institute of Health. His certifications are immense. He has been a keynote speaker at various graduations and conferences, maintains many professional memberships, and has been a consultant in both private and public corporations. And he, even when he finds time, helps out the local police department with forensics. He's also been the department chair of the chemistry department. Dr. Trimm has been a very strong advocate for diversification at the science department of SUNY Broome, expanding new classes into food science, including cheese and beer making, which my mother made the beer for that's here today, which is wonderful, which is delicious. I recommend you all have it. And the very popular chemistry of art class, where I've heard nothing but good things about his co-teacher. I'm the co-teacher. Dr. Trimm began his academic career at the prestigious Clarkson University in Potsdam, New York. During his time there, he braved the very cold and snowy winters, studied hard, and completed several degrees, including his Bachelor's of Science in 1976, followed swiftly by his Master's in 78, and his PhD in chemistry in 1981, where his major was inorganic solution kinetic and thermodynamics, which is very difficult for an art major to say. Some of you may not know this, but while he was up in Potsdam, he was actually in a volunteer position for the EMS. And one of the fun parts about that is he gets to go to all the Clarkson hockey games, where I'm sure as an alumni there, he yelled safety school when RPI visited. From the glamorous Troy, New York. Following his academic career at Clarkson, and no doubt seeking better weather, he ventured across the pond to England, Middlesex to be exact, where he completed a postdoctorate and fellowship in biophysics at Brunel University from 1981 to 1983. Among his rigorous academic research, Dr. Trimm found other passions in England besides the charming weather, including the popular BBC Channel 1 show, Doctor Who, the British classic fish and chips with extra malt vinegar, and the occasional lager to wash it down with. Following his time in England, Dr. Trimm then ventured back across the pond and started his very fruitful career at SUNY Broome. Working his way from assistant professor to associate professor and finally professor of chemistry, it was clear that his passion, his intelligence, and his ability to relate the material to his students has been at the very foundation of his long tenure at the college. Students throughout the years have appreciated his patience and experience and have inspired them to foster their own careers in science and in chemistry. One student, who later became a writer, was so impressed with Professor Trimm that he made a character in his book about him, which I think you're still waiting for the royalties on that. I don't know. It's quite clear, though, that as a professor, the students have gravitated to his classes, eager to learn and impressed with his delivery. I did take the liberty of pulling some student comments from the popular and dreaded Rate My Professor, which for those of you that don't know, that's where students get to go on a forum and talk about the various classes that they take, the professors that teach them, as well as the books and whether they would recommend the class or not. And here are what some of the students have said over the years. Chemistry 121, comment. Dr. Trimm is a great person and professor, an absolute pleasure to have been taught by him. Would recommend the class wholeheartedly. Chem 129, comment, Dr. Trimm is very good at explaining things, very helpful when it comes to review, ... and I usually hate reviews. Chem 145, obviously intelligent and very accommodating and a fair grader, which I've never heard a student ever say, which is very impressive. I would undoubtedly recommend no matter what course he's teaching. I've taught the chemistry of art, and I know I joked about it before with my dad, and it's been a great honor for me. And as somebody who's been a teacher, it's nice to have to experience a veteran teacher in a classroom and see which professionalism and poise they compose their material and their passion. It's something that you get to see and learn, and you get to see students gravitate towards that. It's not only inspiring, but it's also something to be looked upon as a real quality in a human. It's very hard to command leadership from people, and the charismatic approach and professionalism with which he is engaged over his last 41 years is something to be inspired by. So on a personal note, it's something very charming to sit back and watch. So on a more personal note, with all these accomplishments, the most important role he has fulfilled and continues to fulfill is being a father. Oof, kind of emotional. So bear with me. I'm never nervous, but I feel nervous today. His patience and durability as a father is unmatched. He is always there to guide, to help, to fix whatever projects Brian and I aren't sure exactly how to finish.
Are you a college
To fix anything that I break. This is a bad time to mention, but the Husqvarna, the tire blew out yesterday. And his support in all aspects of our life unconditionally. Our father is a great man. And like all great men, there is a very pensive and quiet intelligence in his eyes. This echoes in his strong and stoic nature. Our father is a man of very few words at times, yet they all seem to be the most important ones. There is a sense of gravity to his words that holds a lasting memory. His consistent love and devotion to our family makes him the most important man I have ever known. It is with this foundation that Brian and I have been able to sojourn through this world with confidence, a strong constitution, and humility. You're gonna have to read the last part. Sorry.
Have some coffee.
We can think of no greater honor than being your sons. On behalf of Mom, myself, and Eric, we are wishing you the very best and a very well-deserved retirement. We are so very proud of all of your accomplishments, all of our love, always. Congratulations.
Yep, wait, hold on, we have one more fun thing. Thank you, I love you. Thank you for everything. Love you, I love you. Love you, Mom.
All right, on a more lighthearted note, I decided to combine two of my dad's favorite things. One of which he's been enjoying more, which is trivia. The other may be tormenting his students by giving pop quizzes. So I thought it'd be a good time to ask some questions to the audience, and maybe the man himself may be able to answer them. Some stuff throughout his career, or things that have happened in life. So, my first question was, at what age did my father become interested in science? Choice A, at 7, when he received his first chemistry set, which may or may not have included radioactive elements. B, when he became interested in rockets at age 10, and may have launched his hamster Fuzz Aldrin in the backyard. C, last year. D, never. Or E, choices A and B. A, was it the chemistry set with a little bit of uranium? Yeah. What was Harold Trimm's first job? A, was it kitchen help for Camp Robin Hood in Deer Isle, Maine? Was it cruise director for the St. James Yacht Club, which may or may not have a ship that sank on his watch? C, an assistant barkeep at his father's bar. A? A. Yep. What was Dr. Harold Trimm's favorite pastime in college?
Wait, what was the answer?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was A. He was yeah. What was his favorite pastime in college? A, was it flooding the dorm room in winter in order to have an indoor ice rink closer to him so he didn't have to walk across campus in the cold Clarkson weather? Was it B, placing a tree cut in half in between the dorms so that people thought a tree was growing through the floors? C, was it developing a glass blowing course because he required some scientific instruments and glassware and the college did not have that class available? Or D, was it all of the above?
All of the above.
I think it was all of the above.
Shocking.
Eric touched on this. Hopefully everyone remembers. How many patents does Harold hold? Is it A, 0, B, 1, C, 2, or D, 3? C, 2. Everyone got that one.
Excellent students. Very good listeners.
All right. Next question. How many years has he been at SUNY Broome? A, 31, B, I already hear people hearing the answers, yeah. B, 39, C, 41, or D, 45?
41.
41, yeah, Charlie got it.
Charlie.
And how many years has it been, has he been the, what am I trying to say? Chair, thank you. You already know the question and you haven't seen it. C, A, 31, B, 39, C, 41, or D, 45? 31, got it, yep. We only have 2 questions left. Hopefully everyone's doing well and passing the class. Which course did Dr. Trimm not develop for SUNY Broome? A, environmental science, B, chemistry of art, C, kitchen chemistry, D, marine chemistry, E, glass blowing, F, brewing and fermentation, G, food analysis course. I started to run out of line on here. I have to go to the next slide. H, unit operations and food science.
Glass blowing?
A. Got it, glass blowing. That was at Clarkson.
No idea what these questions.
And then, what are his plans for retirement? A, enjoy his pastimes.
Myrtle Beach.
We like that, Charlie. A, enjoy his pastimes of golf and aviation. B, continue to teach and enjoy views of the beach, Myrtle Beach. C, occasionally help either one of his sons with projects they started, but when they're finishing, you can see a trend here. Or D, all of the above, plus much, much more.
What do we have for him, Brian? An open bar.
Thank you guys again, everyone. This has been wonderful. We're so happy to be here with our father celebrating his retirement. We didn't think this day would actually ever come. I'm still not sure it has, but we love him. And we're it's soft for there we go. And we love you. Thank you.
You have to say something.
Yeah, you have to say something now.
I guess I'm supposed to say something now.
Wow, after all that.
As a professional educator, I can probably talk for 30 minutes without ever coming to a point. Really, all I want to do is I want to thank you all for coming. Friends, family, co-workers, you've made my 41 years great here. I especially want to thank my wife. I came all choked up. Barbara set all of this up. And I'm really looking forward to 35 years more. My 2 sons, who I'm just so proud of. I love them very much, and thank you so much for all I do. It brings such joy to my life. My family, my sister, I love you.
I love you too.
And,
Everything they said about you is true.
my brother-in-law is here. He taught me to ride motorcycles. Much to my mom's chagrin. And I still ride motorcycles, much to my wife's chagrin. Barbara's probably got at least 100 first cousins. I've only got 1. So I love you, Denise, and Lee, and Chris. love you too. It's just been a great ride. Sometimes I feel guilty at how good it's been. I think of my dad, who went from high school to World War II to NYPD, and he never complained. And I think just how good it's been and how many different paths I could have gone down. But this is the right one, and it's led me exactly to where I want to be. As a very, very youngster, my dad enrolled me in the Sea Scouts, which turned into Junior Naval Reserve. And I think part of him being in Coast Guard wanted me to get me into the Coast Guard and the Navy. And while I was on a ship, it did sink. And exactly
That wasn't the
how it
kayak.
sank is still a little bit of a mystery. But I really think that my whole naval career was ended there. I didn't go in the Navy. We had a very good friend. I can't remember his last name, George something or other. He was he was actually Air Force General in Reserve. And he was going to set me up with a appointment to the Air Force Academy. And my eyesight changed, and I decided if I can't be a pilot, I wasn't going to the Air Force Academy. I went to Clarkson. My dad and I kind of agreed if I didn't do well at Clarkson, I was going to go in the police department. But I did well in Clarkson. And it was a great time there. You know, it hit 40 below. We went out and we played hockey. I can't stand the cold now, but back then I didn't care about it. I was really going as a pre-med major in chemistry, and somebody recommended to me that I try the rescue squad. So I went through all the levels of EMT, became an advanced EMT, became a paramedic, and I learned that I don't like sick people. I don't like hospitals. I would make a terrible doctor. So I decided to stay in chemistry, eventually did a postdoc in England, had a great time, came back. Some of the great faculty members we had when I joined there, Jim Spalick was the chair. I remember going into his office and he had a huge calendar with all the different things that the administration required. And I go, wow, you're really organized. Back then it was green and white track paper with the line printers. And he said, yeah, I'd love to see all the deadlines I've missed. He wasn't a great role model as a chair. He was a very good chemist. He ended up, he and Joe Long was a great chemist. I always remember he played guitar during the lab, so the students would do the lab, and it was kind of fun to hear the music, classical guitar and glass breaking in the lab. Bill Metzer was a great friend. He had a very warped sense of humor, which is exactly matched mine. My first hires was Michael Coolidge and Jim Fish. It was just a great experience. I loved teaching. To a certain extent, I'm not completely getting out of it. I'm doing some part-time teaching in the fall. I love the teaching. The administrative stuff's not so great. I'll tell my one joke. Barbara kind of limited me on what jokes I could tell. I told this joke 40 years ago at a science Olympiad. I don't know if you remember it. But a man standing in a field and a hot air balloon's come by and the man's lost. And he looks up the balloon and the pilot in the balloon and he goes, do you know where we are? And the guy in the balloon looks down and he goes, well, barometric pressure is 29.92 inches of mercury. The wind's out of the northeast at 3 miles an hour, and I'm about 100 feet off the ground. And the man in the field goes, oh, are you a college administrator? And the person in the balloon looks a little bit shocked and goes, yes, how could you tell? And he goes, well, everything you told me is accurate, but none of it's of any use. That's a good one. I really enjoyed the teaching. I really didn't enjoy the administrative stuff so much, so I'm really looking forward to just teaching part-time, and that's it. I love the interaction with the students. College is really about faculty and students and the magical thing that happens in between called education, and that's all I ever wanted to do, and that's what I got a chance to do for 41 years, and I can't think of a better life. And I just want to thank you all for coming. Thank you. And, hope you enjoy it.
Let's have cake.